Hear, 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 hear. Hear, hear.
To all of us who are here.
To all of us. I am Mark Kaiser.
I am Wade Major.
We are both members of the
Los Angeles Film Critics Association.
All of a sudden, this became a Mad Lib. Who knew?
Verb. Give me a noun. Give me an adjective.
I used to love those. All right, so here's the thing. I hate cable. You want to know what I watch on TV?
What do you watch?
I watch the MLB Network. This thing on the Food Channel called Unwrapped, where they tell you how they make junk food.
Okay.
I love that show. And Family Guy.
Okay.
And the occasional Simpsons. That's it.
And you're paying a lot of money for your cable.
And I'm paying a lot of money for that crap.
Okay.
I know I can watch half that stuff on the internet. I don't even really need cable anymore. In fact, I believe...
You should just cut the cord.
I think that a lot of people are like me.
Yeah.
They don't want cable anymore because what's the point? You get 1,000 channels. It's all a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
And in the end, you watch it all on the internet anyway.
So you're not going to be watching Dog the Bounty Hunter?
I'm not going to... I've never watched Dog the whatever.
If only there was a segment of the show where we could find out what movies are available.
I think...
Thanks for the prompt.
Thanks for the prompt that I would have done anyway. It's not like I've not hosted 50 of these frickin' things already, for crying out Jesus. All right, folks, it's time for instant gratification, cutting the cord!
I can watch that over and over again.
I like J-Mac with the emphatic.
If you watch it closely, there's a lot of hidden little logos that Corey put in that aren't really companies.
And probably pornographic.
One of them says beef.
Does it really?
Yeah, they're cute little things he did.
Somebody freeze that and email us.
But most of them are, in fact, places you can go to watch instant downloaded content.
Yes.
You can watch it instantly on your computer and on your TV.
Okay, look, here's the thing. We've been doing this segment a couple times now, and every time we do it, Mike always says the same thing. Mike didn't want to have Netflix streaming because they had no movies, and now, well, you know what? Yes, it's true. At the beginning, Netflix streaming was not great. But you know what? Now they've got thousands of movies, and I kid you not. I know you think I'm kidding. This is the absolute God's honest truth. Last night, I streamed Rosemary's Baby. I had not seen Rosemary's Baby in years, but they had that, a Roman Polanski classic, streaming.
That's pretty
great. And they
great.
got another few hundred films like that. So right now, Netflix streaming is like the bomb for me.
Why don't you recommend then a Netflix streaming besides Rosemary's Baby that maybe we can watch?
Mr. Prompt before I prompt myself.
This is supposed to be a quick segment.
I've done. There's no such thing as quick on this series. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We've got a couple of these sites where you can download stuff, stream it onto your computer. Wade and I are going to give you a service and a film that you can download from that service. And you'll get a sense of how many great films there are, right?
It's amazing, actually. The services and the way they operate are growing every week. So it's endless now, suddenly, what you can find out there.
Now, Netflix, here's the thing with Netflix. I have the full-on Netflix with the DVDs. You send them back, whatever. But for $7.99 a month, you can just have streaming.
Yep.
And frankly, that's how it's going to go once Netflix gets sort of that tipping point number of films streamable.
Yes.
But until that happens, they got so many good films. What I want to recommend this week is the 1974 film Lenny.
Bob Fosse.
Now, Lenny was directed by Bob Fosse.
Yeah.
Earned an Oscar nomination for it. And Dustin Hoffman plays Lenny Bruce, the legendary comic. And, you know, nowadays when everybody says everything on roast and Ricky Gervais does the Golden Globes, makes fun of everybody, what Lenny Bruce did in the 60s, right, was absolutely controversial beyond. It was so controversial that by the end of his stand-up career, literally his club dates would consist of him on stage reading court transcripts from his court proceedings.
Yeah.
That's what he would do. And in this Bob Fosse film, he goes through all of that. Dustin Hoffman is amazing.
He is.
As Lenny Bruce.
It got the X rating.
And he goes, say again?
X rating.
It got an X rating.
Yeah.
It got an X rating. And the film is very interestingly put together. It is a bunch of remembrances from obviously actresses playing all these people, but it's a bunch of interviews and remembrances from Lenny's old girlfriends and lovers, and there's some narrative in there too, so it's very interestingly put together.
But when, you know, this also goes back to a time when studios made films that were heady and risky. I mean, even the best films that studios are making today, they wouldn't make a movie like Lenny today. I mean, it really is. It goes over the edge. It just pushes all kinds of buttons. And I don't even know how many independent filmmakers would make a movie like Lenny today. And I think it's more timely today than ever because today, the crop of comics that we have who are successful today, they are the descendants of Lenny Bruce. They are not the descendants of Bill Cosby. They are the descendants of Lenny Bruce.
They're also they're the beneficiaries
of Lenny Bruce.
Of Lenny Bruce as well.
Absolutely.
So if you want to see kind of where it all started,
yep.
in terms of some of the edgy comedy or what we
there would be no Louis
today.
C.K. without Lenny.
That's right.
You know, there would be no Patton Oswalt without Lenny. I mean, yeah.
Oh, Lenny's getting an applause. Patton Oswalt, Sarah
That's
Silverman,
right.
all these edgy guys.
True.
So Lenny is the Netflix recommendation of the week. It's just a terrific film. Now, Wade, what do you have?
I have a Criterion film. And I know what you're saying. Criterion, don't they do Blu-rays and DVDs and packaged media? They also have movies that you can watch on the site. And it's interesting how it all ties together. Criterion has a slightly different model. You can go and you can find certain films on Criterion. You pay $5 to watch them, and then the $5 is banked against your purchase of a packaged media Criterion film. So you can buy the one you watched, or you can buy something else. So we're going to recommend I Shot Jesse James from 1949, directed by Samuel Fuller. Now, Samuel Fuller, of course, like the original edgy, off-the-wall B-movie guy who became an American independent art auteur. It's one of the most amazing career trajectories. And this is an interesting film because it's the same story in many respects as the more recent Brad Pitt film, The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford. Just like that film has a longer title and a much longer running time, almost 3 hours, this one is only about 81 minutes. So you can't go wrong. So go to Criterion.com and find I Shot Jesse James. It's a terrific film and real classic 1949 Western sheen to it. You can't go wrong. Well made, well acted, still holds a punch. Criterion.com, new place to go and see streaming movies.
You know, I Shot Jesse James is terrific because it's, you know, in The Assassination of Jesse James is shot at the end of the film.
Yeah.
And I Shot Jesse James,
yep.
He's shot sort of towards the beginning, and then Bob Ford, as he's called in the film,
yeah.
Bob Ford has to sort of live with what he's done and the fact that he had done it for the money and he wanted to settle down with a woman. So it's a different kind of story, and Sam Fuller would eventually, this is like his first film, Sam Fuller would eventually become this super rough, kind of macho, gruff, you know, guy that makes those sorts of films. But this was a little bit more of a character-y thing.
Well, this is also really good because this week on Criterion DVD and on Blu-ray, Naked Kiss and Shot Corridor come out.
Shot Corridor is an interesting film, and again, that's
big Samuel Fuller time.
It's a big Samuel Fuller time. So that's on Criterion.
Yes.
Okay. Now there's another one of these is Jamin.com.
Yes.
And what they have is they have a deal where for $2.99 you can watch a film for 7 days. So for less than $3, 7 days you can watch a film, and
that is a long film.
Huh?
Oh, you can watch for
yes,
a 7-day film.
So my pick
his pick is Showa,
followed by 127 hours. But the film that I want to pick is one that I just love, one of the best films of 2009, Man on Wire. Now, Man on Wire is an amazing documentary. Oscar.
Yeah.
Come on, Man on Wire, directed by James Marsh. It is a story about a true story about a Frenchman named Philippe Petit, who in 1974 strung a wire across both towers of the World Trade Center and tightrope walked across them. And the movie is part artistic accomplishment, part thriller, as he tries to make his way up and not get caught.
And they do these amazing, I'm not usually a fan of recreations, but the recreations of the drama and the guys who are hiding on the upper floors, waiting until the morning to pull the stunt off, you know, his team, and some of them are competent and some of them are a little incompetent, and the way it's all tied together is amazing.
And then once he gets up there, there's something so existential about how it's presented. You almost feel, as you look at the video of him on the wire between the towers, you feel like he's like touching God. Like somehow this man has defied God by being able to do this. And it's an amazing achievement. It's a great film.
And given the historic significance of the World Trade Center in the aftermath of 9/11, the whole thing takes on this historic import that is indelible.
You know what? So and Jamin has it. You can watch it over the course of 7 days for $2.99.
And it's also available on Netflix. So you know a lot of these are available other places. is we're trying to not only point out good movies to see, but different places you can go.
Yeah.
So yes, some people say you can get this on Netflix as well, which you can, but we're trying to point out there's a place called Jamin, which also has great movies.
All right, so we have Lenny from Netflix, we have I Shot Jesse James from Criterion, we have Man on Wire from Jamin. Wade, what else we got?
You know what? If you're cheap and you say, I don't want to pay, I just want to see a free movie.
Hey,
you know
man.
what?
That's me.
That's him. Well, there are free movies out there. Go to Hulu. Go to Hulu.com and see 1960s Little Shop of Horrors. Not the 1986 musical based on the Broadway play, with great music, by the way, by Menken and Ashman, who would go on to do, Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast and all that. They did the music for that. But no, this is the 1960 original, directed by Roger Corman, written by Charles B. Griffith. This was their follow-up to A Bucket of Blood, which is also really good. It's just a fascinating exploitation film that has all kinds of really cool social undercurrents to it. Young Jack Nicholson plays the part that Bill Murray played in the musical, which is the masochistic guy who goes to the dentist to get abused. Absolutely terrific. And a young actor named Jonathan Hayes plays Seymour beautifully. In many respects, a better Seymour even than Rick Moranis, who I also like quite a lot in the part in the 1986 film. But 1960s Roger Corman spectacular, Little Shop of Horrors. Go see it at Hulu.com.
For free.
Free.
And by the way, there's a lot of Corman stuff available streaming for free. And Corman doesn't really look. Corman, he's won like an honorary Oscar or whatever, and the guy still doesn't get the respect he deserves.
No.
Not all of his movies were terrible.
And without Roger Corman, we would have
James Cameron,
Francis Coppola,
Ron Howard,
who?
Travis Rink.
Travis.
Whoa, really? Is that right?
He wrote
right
for Corman.
on. Yeah.
Really?
What movie was Travis
Why do you
Rink?
not
Is it
book him as
available
a
online?
guest? Why are you not?
Caroline at Midnight, we'll look for it.
Yeah, Corman, I mean, honestly, but Corman...
We will have Travis Rink on as a guest.
Corman broke so many talents. I mean, Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. I mean, Corman gave so many opportunities to so many people. It was, it's extraordinary. There would be no Hollywood without, Corman.
That's true. So, all right. So, 4 great films, 4 sites you can go to stream this stuff or download it for either free or very little money. It just sort of goes to prove that right now you barely even really need cable anymore. Really,
it's getting there.
It's getting there. You can watch, because what we didn't talk about, which we will in subsequent episodes, is TV stuff that you can be streaming.
Yeah.
There's plenty of TV stuff. Old TV stuff, new TV stuff, stuff you want to catch up on, The Wire or Deadwood, or whatever it is.
You don't have to be locked to a day and time to catch your favorite shows either.
That is true. Yep. All right, folks, that is instant gratification, cutting the cord.
Woo!
I want another one of those. Wait, there's an 8, and there's a beep, and there's a Crackle, and there's a Roku. No, those are real. Okay.
Crackle and Roku are real.
Oh, the Cackle? What's it called?
That's Crackle. We covered it last week.
Okay. All right, folks. So that was instant gratification, cutting the cord. Go stream us. Stream something good. Tell us what you stream. Go on the Facebook page. Go on the Twitter. Tell us what you're watching on Netflix and Criterion and Jamin and Hulu and Crackle and all those great sites. And we'll see you next time.
Woo!